Hello and welcome back to the Second and Two podcast. I'm your host, TB. Got my co-host, producer extraordinaire, LA Rams fan. Not a bandwagoner, dude, just an LA Rams fan. Jody. What's up, Joe?
What up, man? I tried to throw on a hat real quick to help you out in that first opening statement, but it is what it
Hat
is.
connoisseur, dude. The hat connoisseur. All right, so we got a jam-packed pod today, huh?
Yeah, I guess it is pretty big. We got same deal as last week for the most part. We got bunch of key games again. Maybe not key, but important to us.
No, they're all key games, bro. They're all key games. We'll talk a little college football at the top here. We'll recap some of the stuff we talked about in Week 14, what happened in Week 14, how that informs us on Week 15, and then we will preview some of those major Week 15 matchups as we get into a critical week of the NFL season. We're getting down to it. 4 weeks to go, last quarter of the season here. So we're going to start, though. We're recording this on Thursday evening. So by now, by the time everybody's listening to this podcast, everyone's heard about what went down yesterday in the college football world with Sharon Moore being terminated from his contract at Michigan for cause due to an inappropriate relationship with a female staff member. As a Michigan fan, as a football coach, someone who manages, people and personalities and things like that for a living, you look at this and there's nothing you can say but be disappointed.
Makes sense. I was gonna say it's a big notch on the integrity belt right there. Like, what are you doing out there, guy?
I mean, there's the. I mean, just look at the people hurt by his decision making, right? I mean, you start with he has 3 little girls who, this is going to live on the internet forever. This is going to live,
true.
Over their family forever, and they may not know it right now because they're so young. But as they get older, this is going to be a thing that he's going to have to answer for, to his daughters, which is a sad reality. Then you look at like his wife. I mean, how embarrassed, and upset could she be? I mean, you give her every right to be as upset as she wants to be right now, truthfully.
Yeah.
Then you look at, beyond the scope of just his family, you look at the Michigan football program and you talk about like the athletes who signed to play at Michigan last week. I think some of those kids are probably feeling a little bit bamboozled, right?
Yeah,
I mean, it's just like you think you're signing to play with one coach and you think he's a certain person, and then
now you don't know who's going to be the coach.
And then you keep going and it's like young players on that roster that are slated to come back next year. How's that fair to those guys, right? And then I think about like the assistant coaches on that staff who now have to finish, their 2025 season, finish through bowl season for the kids and all of that, but knowing like they don't know if they have a job beyond that bowl game, right? Yeah. There's no way, because new coach comes in, it doesn't matter how great a job you did. It might just be, hey, I prefer to bring in my own staff.
Yeah.
I bring in guys that I trust, and that's just the reality of coaching. Those guys all signed up for that. So, it's not like anyone's shedding a ton of tears for them. They'll all probably find other jobs, whatever. But just the reality of like one day you're sitting there thinking, okay, we're prepping for next year, to the next day you're being told your head coach is being fired for what? And now you have to kind of finish the season. And now you're sitting there talking to your family about, all right, well, we're going to finish out this year. We got till the end of December, and then True. We got to try and fight to stay or look for another job and move somewhere else, right? And so, just I mean, the ripple effect of one man's decision making and how that impacts so many people, right? It's sad, it's disappointing, it's embarrassing for the university, it's embarrassing for Sharon Moore. You would expect more out of him. But it is a difficult time for the football program. And the unfortunate part too is there's been a string of, I don't know what you want to call it, illicit scandals in the last 8 years or so. And that's also a bummer because, again, as a Michigan fan, you look at the program and you hold it in high regard, high esteem. And unfortunately, you can't look away and say, well, all of this is fake. Like, no, this stuff is happening, right? And this is everything from Matt Weiss to Connor Stallions to now Sharon Moore. You include everything in between. Some of those things are worse than others, but whether it's football or non-football related, it's just unfortunate the program's been, housing people who are breaking the law or doing bad stuff, right? So you hope that now university leadership, they got to make a really difficult decision because they got to make the right one, right? They got to get the right guy to reset the program, and also, based on everything you're hearing, they might have a new AD as well. This might go all the way to the top. Well, I think enough people are upset with what I just described as the last 8 years. Yeah. And this is not, and it's not just the football program, right? You had Juwan Howard in the basketball program. You had a sudden firing in the hockey program. Like there's been multiple programs in athletics right now that
worse than the slap, or is that the only thing?
No, just it wasn't very productive, and the weird interaction with Greg Gard at Wisconsin, and then the firing, and all of a sudden, look how great they look with Dusty May. So there's a few things. It's not just the football program; it's been basketball, it's been hockey. That I think some people are side-eyeing with Ward Manuel now, the athletic director, and you hate to speculate on people's jobs, but there's just been a lot out there today that I've seen that suggests maybe there's a change in leadership there. Whether it's Ward Manuel getting to make this choice or somebody else, they need to make the right choice. It's got to be a slam dunk. They have to nail it. They have to reset the program in a way that not only sets them up for success on the field, but stops the nonsense.
Yeah.
And there's just no other way to put it. There's just no other way to put it, right? You got to put an end to all the stupid stuff happening behind closed doors, the DUIs, the stealing people's pictures off their laptops, the sleeping with staffers and getting in trouble with the law, like all that stuff. It has to stop for you to be a respectable program. So a lot of tough choices being made at Michigan right now. As stepping back, just as fan, truthfully, I think it could end up being the best thing for the program because it's clear they need a reset. Yeah. So we'll see what happens. Obviously, you wish the best for the rest of the coaches on staff and then those kids, and you hope that regardless of whether it's at Michigan or somewhere else next year, they figure it out and they land on the right foot because they don't deserve this right now.
I was going to say, can they still enter the transfer portal if they wanted to, or is that time passed?
January 2nd. Yeah, so the next portal window opens January 2nd, and or when the new coach is hired, 15 days from that point, they have the opportunity to enter the portal. So a lot of people are saying Michigan's got to kind of move fast here and get the right guys. So they can retain as much of the guys that they already have as possible, right? Give that new coach the opportunity to sell those kids on staying, basically, right? Like why they're the right guy and why they want to play for that guy, whoever that person is. So that's the deal. It used to be that the portal opened as soon as you fired a coach. Mm-hmm. And they kind of switched that because it wasn't really fair to the guy coming in. So I think that this is a little bit better setup. Allow the guy to come in to kind of sell his program, his vision, and see if kids will buy into it and stay, right? And
so there's still like a week to try to mesh those 2 points together. Otherwise, there's just an extended window.
Basically. So I think if you're Michigan, you want to kind of hire a guy within the next, like you said, about a week or so, have that guy in place and be able to support him. And allow him to kind of talk to your players to hopefully keep them, right? The ones that want to stay. And there's still the truth, at Michigan, they have the saying, those who stay will be champions. You still got to believe that as someone part of the university or a fan rooting for them, that's still going to be the case. So, we'll see. We'll see what they come up with. There's a lot of names floating out there. I mean, I can just give you the names that people are talking about, right? You've got Dan Lanning at Oregon. I love that. there's not a chance he leaves Oregon. I'm just going to be honest, right?
I was gonna say.
Michigan fans don't get excited about Dan Lanning. He ain't going anywhere. He hasn't gone anywhere. He's not going anywhere, right?
I ain't leaving.
The next one that's been really hot right now, Kalen DeBoer at Alabama. That one I think could happen, right? There's rumors that Michigan's always been his dream job, that he used to tell people that at Fresno State, at UW. He saw what they look like up close and personal in a national championship game. Really tough to follow, a legend. He's had a tough time at Alabama and yet found reasonable success there. He's in the playoff this year. We'll see how he does. But there's people who have felt like maybe he would fit better at Michigan than Alabama, right? We'll see. I don't know if he really wants to leave Alabama. Who knows? That one feels a little more plausible, at least, than Dan Lanning.
That's fair.
The next one I've seen a lot of people talk about is Clark Lee from Vanderbilt and what he's built there. He just signed an extension. That doesn't mean he can't leave, right? But makes it maybe a little bit harder. It's also one of those things where you do wonder, like, is he committed to staying? Another guy that's in that similar boat, Kenny Dillingham at Arizona State. Similar deal, right? He's done some really good things there. They made the playoff last year. Vanderbilt was on the verge of making the playoff this year. So you got two coaches who have taken what you might consider lesser Power 4 programs and built them up. And so then you say, hey, we'll give you that structure and with the resources at the University of Michigan, and you hope, right? I can't say if either one of those guys you really think either one of those guys would leave. So I guess we'll see. We'll see. He took the UCLA job already, so doubt that's a thing that's happening. That is the part about this that's unfortunate for Michigan is you're late enough in the cycle. Some guys who you might have thought about have already taken jobs, right? I still think they're swinging big for some guys who are already at jobs, probably. Other names just kind of go down the list. A couple NFL coordinators, Joe Brady at the Bills and Jesse Minter at the Chargers, have been kind of floated. I don't know how realistic those are. I think both those guys maybe are NFL guys, but you never know which guy might decide like I want to run my program and I'll go to college to do it. So we'll see. But I will say this: I trust the people in positions of power at the University of Michigan to make the right choice and get the right guy and pay whatever it takes to get them and get this thing rolling. So it's a prestigious university that needs to start holding itself to that accountability level, and then you need to get the right guy and start doing it. So as far as, we'd mentioned the college football playoff, we got to talk a little bit about those matchups. First of all, Jody, I just want to know from your perspective, college football fan, did the committee get the right 12?
I mean, from what I've heard, no. But they did the way the rules were in place, yes.
Well, obviously, so what you're referencing here is the rules are set up that the top 5 conference champions automatically make the playoff. And those, as ranked in order, are Indiana, Big Ten champion, number 1 overall seed, got the bye.
Mm-hmm.
Georgia, SEC champion, number 3 overall, got the bye. Tulane, the American champion,
they got a bye.
11 seed, did not get the bye, but just the 11 seed.
I was like, ain't no way.
They changed this. If this was last year, Tulane would have been the 4th team with a bye.
Yeah, they would be the ASU and whoever the other guy was.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Or and who am I forgetting? Actually, I'm sorry. Georgia. I'm forgetting Texas Tech.
There you go.
Big 12 champion, 4 seed, and the bye. And then the 4th conference champion would be Tulane at the 11 seed. If we were under last year's rule, Tulane would be the 4 seed. It would have been
with the bye.
Indiana, Georgia, Texas Tech, Tulane under the old rules, right? And so obviously they changed that from last year. So now Tulane is the 11 seed. And then the 5th highest ranked conference champion was actually JMU out of the Sun Belt as the number 12 seed, rather than ACC champion Duke, who was 8-5 and had kind of a weird year, but won the ACC. So they chose Tulane and JMU over Duke. It's kind of what their choices were, right? And I guess you could throw in UNLV, the Mountain West champ, but they weren't going to pick them either.
They're not ranked, right? So they weren't high. They weren't good enough.
So those are the 2 teams those are the conference champions that got in. The at-large bids, right? We'll just go through it. You had number 2 Ohio State.
They were the other bye, right?
Yes, they were the other bye. Number 5, Oregon. Also, not a lot of argument against and pushback against that team. Number 6, Ole Miss. Maybe some pushback because they lost Lane Kiffin, but I don't think anybody is sitting there saying they should be out of the playoffs. They were very impressive this year. Number 7, Texas A&M. Kind of a light schedule. Did lose to Texas, but they only have one loss, and they're in the SEC. They weren't going to be out. Okay, number 8, this is where it starts to get dicier, right? Number 8, Oklahoma. Number 9, Alabama. Number 10, Miami. And then the first team out, number 11, Notre Dame, right? So, and number 11 based on the CFP rankings, not number 11 in the playoff. Obviously, they were out. They would have been 13 as far as the playoffs concerned. So you ask yourself, like, okay, Oklahoma, 2-loss SEC team, wins against non-conference win against Michigan, which is a good one, right? They beat Alabama in conference play, right? And so look like a very good team. Number 9, Alabama, they lose 2 games. They lose to Florida State early in the year. Weird, bad-looking loss based on how Florida State finished. They also lose to Oklahoma, right? And then they lose in the SEC championship game to Georgia. They absolutely get waxed by Georgia. Now, on the flip side, they beat Georgia in the regular season, right? They beat Vanderbilt. Okay. They beat Texas, right? So they had some good resume-building wins. They look like a good football program. However, that loss in the SEC championship game, tough, right? They got beat like pretty handily. And then you have Miami, who had some impressive early season wins, right? They beat Notre Dame, right? They then had a little bit of a weird collapse in the middle of the year in the ACC, had 2 losses to Louisville and SMU, who are both like SMU's not a terrible loss. You probably, if you're Miami, you feel like you should beat them. The loss to Louisville, pretty tough, right? Pretty tough look. But finished the year strong enough that they kind of willed themselves into this thing. And then Notre Dame, who was ahead of Miami the whole time until the very last ranking, when it became apparent that it was like, you know what, we just can't leave Miami out when they beat Notre Dame head-to-head, right? The head-to-head finally mattered, it seemed like, in the last ranking. Now, in truth, if you ask me, the reality is I think they got the Notre Dame versus Miami piece of it right. Miami beat them. Sorry, Notre Dame. Win the game.
Yeah.
Win the game.
That's very true.
Now, do I think it was a weirdly kind of unfair deal that they had Notre Dame ranked ahead of them all the way through, and then neither team played, and the last ranking, they were like, you know what? We changed our mind. Miami, you get in there. That's the part where if you're a Notre Dame fan, where I understand the frustration.
Well, I would say join a conference.
Join a conference. That's also number one. Join a conference. In truth, honestly, and I know this would have been controversial, people wouldn't have liked it, but I really just didn't like how Alabama closed the year. Struggled to beat Auburn. They looked awful in the SEC championship game against Georgia. They weren't very competitive. And everyone's going to say, well, then you're penalizing them for losing in a conference championship.
Well, you shouldn't get waxed in a conference
championship. If we're just going to say we don't watch the conference championships and they don't matter,
they're not going to ever play them.
I mean, yeah, what's the point? What's the point of playing them, right? If we can't take that as another data point, and it's not just that they lost. Like, okay, and people are, well, the 3 losses, it's not even that. It's none of that, right? It's just that you played another playoff team and you didn't look competitive. So how can we say you're one of the best, right?
Yeah. And
that's also like taking into account the way they finished the year. You played Auburn and you had to go for it on 4th down to beat them. And Auburn was terrible this year. They weren't very good.
Hey, but that's right? the bowl. Whatever.
And you lost to another, Oklahoma. It was a good game, but you lost to them down the stretch. And so I don't know. My feeling was, if you're talking about, hey, who are the 12 best teams? Obviously, JMU and Tulane, they get their spots. So it's really who are the 10 best teams. Yeah. From that point, to me, I would have put Notre Dame and Miami in above Alabama and kept Alabama out. But can't do anything about it now. So we look at the matchups, right?
Hold on, wait. Before we do that, who would you put instead of JMU and Tulane if it wasn't for them? Or like the rule allowed.
If we didn't have to include them, and then you're just like, hey, who are the 12 best teams?
Yeah.
The next 2 teams to me are Notre Dame and Vandy. It's not really that close to me.
Okay.
Like Texas, I'm sorry. No. I know Texas beat Vanderbilt, but Vanderbilt consistently was better throughout the year. Texas was too up and down for me. They are a good football team. They have a lot of talent, but I think Vanderbilt's a better team. I know Texas beat them head-to-head. I get it. I would have put Vanderbilt in, and I would have put Notre Dame in.
And then what about the Alabama pick?
Well, Alabama would have been
them
in.
Down. Okay.
Yeah, I just would have shifted Alabama down. Alabama probably, in truth, I could see you kind of going either way. I probably would keep Alabama 11, right, and Vandy 12, because Alabama does have the head-to-head against Vandy. Mm-hmm. Now, I know that makes me sound like a hypocrite because I've got Vandy in over Texas, right? But in truth, Bam beat Texas. So, what are we doing here? So there's no right way to do it, truthfully. That's the problem with the system. When you just let everyone play whoever and then just say, all right, we'll just rank it, right? There's always going to be someone left out. There's always going to be someone left out. That's the problem with it. Instead of just saying automatic qualifiers, win your way to get in, just like the NFL does it or whoever, there's no other sports thing in the world that does it this way. Have them just play random games and then rank them. I mean, that's the problem. That's the problem with it. But we love the drama of it. That's also the problem. That's why it keeps happening, and that's why it won't change, because that's what people love. People like us sit here and talk about it for 20 minutes. So what I'm more interested now in is the matchups, right? Okay, so you've got number 5, Oregon versus number 12, James Madison. That's going to be Saturday, December 20th at 6:30. Oregon is a 21-point favorite. Just kind of all the games, just my first thought here, I don't think it'll be close. I think Oregon will mop the floor with JMU, and this is all due respect to JMU. I think they're a good program. What they've done, what they've accomplished as a team that came from an FCS program not 4 years ago and vaulting into the FBS and making a playoff in less than 5 years, we'll never see anything like it. I mean, it's unbelievable. There was a chain of events that had to happen for this to be possible for them.
Yeah.
And we're not going to deny that part, but a very impressive rise for a program that continues to put out coaches, by the way.
I was going to say,
they continue to have guys leave for better jobs, find somebody else, and just keep it rolling. It doesn't matter who's coaching that program. They're going to be good, right? And that's a testament to the infrastructure of the program. And so all respect for JMU. They're not going to be on the level of Oregon. I'm not necessarily saying that Oregon's going to cover the 21, but I wouldn't be surprised if they do. Right? I think Oregon should win this thing by at least a couple touchdowns.
Yeah.
Next game. Yeah. Ole Miss Tulane. December 20th at 2:30. Ole Miss 17.5-point favorite. Now, if you're looking for your college football playoff Cinderella, this is the only game, or this is the game, I would say, not the only game, but this is the game where I could see maybe an upset, and there's some formula here. Here's the reasons why. Number 1, Sumrall, right? The head coach at Tulane, who's taking the head coaching job at Florida, still coaching Tulane.
Okay.
All right, now, you could argue, hey, half his mind is at Florida, half of it is on Tulane. But I'm going to just say the guy's got a chance to win a national championship.
That's what I was going to say.
I think he's doing his thing at Tulane right now, right? And I think the people at Florida understand that. Now, so they've got their coach. They've got a quarterback who is legit. Retzloff, who came from BYU, right? Transferred before the year. Weird stuff happening there. You know, he got accused of sexual assault. Came out that he was found innocent, but it proved that he had a relationship with a female, which is not allowed at BYU, so he had to transfer.
That was crazy.
Had to transfer. So now he's at Tulane. Unbelievable quarterback, very good player. Has helped Tulane tremendously. It's part of the reason why they're in this position. Very good. And they beat a very good North Texas team to win their conference. So Tulane, that's them, right? Ole Miss, lose their head coach, right? A lot of drama in the program. Promote the defensive coordinator. Kind of bring back most of the offensive staff that is going to leave for LSU, is now coming back to coach the offense, mainly Charlie Weiss, the OC, is going to be the OC at LSU, but is being allowed to coach the team in the playoff as their OC.
That's so wild. They said, "Hey,
But
bro,
Lane was not
we'll leave
going
your
to.
stuff out here on the tarmac, but your boys can come back and coach." That's crazy to me.
The whole Ole Miss thing is weird. I'm not saying anybody's right or wrong or whatever. The whole thing is just dysfunctional, truthfully. It's just a lot.
Yeah,
So
sounds like it.
that makes me feel like, hey, Ole Miss, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot going on there, a lot of
Too much
distraction.
drama. Yeah.
So I'm just saying, if there was gonna be, if I was gonna bet on one of the two Group of 5 teams, I'm just telling you the much better bet is Tulane, not Ole Miss.
Yeah.
Now,
Well, I mean, the
do I
points
still
tells you that
anticipate?
too.
Yes. Do I still anticipate Ole Miss winning the game? Yes. Right. And even if Tulane beats Ole Miss, do I think they can win another game? No.
Nah.
But I think this game could be competitive. It could be the more competitive of the two Group of 5 games. Okay. Next one. And probably my favorite matchup of the weekend, Texas A&M versus Miami on December 20th at 11. This is, and these are all Central Times. Sorry, Central Time here over here. So, Texas A&M is a 4-point favorite. They're at home, right? So that really means 4 point. If you're talking about like home field's maybe 2.5, that means like neutral field. They're saying A&M's like a 1.5 point favorite on Miami. Now this is funny because both these teams beat Notre Dame closely. I expect this to be the best game of the weekend. I think it's going to be awesome. I actually think that if we get the right version of Carson Beck for Miami, that Miami can win this game. I anticipate, truthfully, that Miami will win this game. But I think it's going to be an electric atmosphere in College Station. A&M's been waiting to be a program of this magnitude and success. And so, it's a big game for them. Okay, last matchup here. Oklahoma, Alabama. This one's on Friday night at 7, December 19th. Oklahoma, 1.5 point favorite. It's in Norman. So basically what they're saying is this is like a pick 'em. They might even favor Alabama on a neutral field, depending on how many points they're given for home field. This is the game that I don't really know how to pick because I don't really trust either one of these teams. Truthfully, I don't. The way Alabama finished the year, I don't really trust their offense a ton. Oklahoma, if John Mateer ain't just doing everything, especially running the ball, their offense can't generate enough. And their defense is really good, right? Their defense is elite. And so that might be enough reason with them being at home to pick Oklahoma in this game. But I truly think it's a toss-up. I'm with Vegas on the 1.5 point line here, that it's like, who knows, right?
Pick poison.
Yes. So those are just early thoughts on the matchups. As we get closer to them, we'll break them down. We'll give you keys to the game, all that stuff. But just face value the matchups there. I think we could be in store for some great second-round matchups. Like I would love to watch an Oregon Texas Tech, quarterfinal. I would love to watch truthfully, Miami or Texas A&M Ohio State quarterfinal should be very good. We'll see. I think those two potential matchups have the chance to be the best ones of the quarterfinals. And Indiana versus the winner of Oklahoma, Alabama could also be pretty good. So we'll see. But any last words here, Jody, for you on the college football playoff?
I was gonna say this, not really last words, more of a hypothetical because you know me. Because they do it bracket style, right? So it's not like they got the 4 listed from the bye, and then say 9-8 plays whoever, say 4 or whatever. They don't do it by like
9-8 plays 1.
Okay.
9-8 automatically plays 1. It's not a reseed like the NFL.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Would you prefer if it was that way, or just leave it as is?
I don't know. It's a weird. Styles make fights, so the matchups are kind of everything. So either way, however you do it, like if you reseed, I think that might be too great of an advantage, I guess. And so maybe leaving it as a bracket like this gives us a little more unpredictability. But I don't know. Yeah, it's an interesting question, and there's a million questions about the college football playoff though that we could.
Yeah.
Like I said earlier, you can tell I'm
year.
not the greatest. I'm not the biggest fan of the 12 team, truthfully. So
I mean, I think that's a lot of people just like having the more games. I think more than anything, there's a bigger chance to have some
more
rando
games,
win
more
compared
fun,
to
more fun.
someone who's ranked 1 or 2.
No doubt, no doubt. Okay, so let's look at Week 14 a little bit. The big winners of Week 14, right? Thought the Rams smoking the Cardinals. We didn't preview that game, but that was a big win for the Rams in terms of just establishing their identity, resetting kind of the expectation again after that loss to Carolina. The Lions. We talked about that being kind of a loser leaves town matchup with the Cowboys. Yep. They needed it. They got it. Now they put themselves in a great spot at 8-5. Even though they're outside looking in, they control their destiny. Right? They can win the games they need to win and get in. The Texans, man, talked about that with them and the Chiefs. Similar situation.
That's one
to the
of
Lions.
my 3 that I got right.
And Jody did call it a big win for the Texans. Their defense is for real. They look like they might not just get in, but be a legitimate contender in the AFC the way it's structured right now. And last but not least, the Packers winning that. Hey, winner gets the division right now, 2 seed, right? All of that. Big win for the Packers. They needed it. They are crushing it in their division. And so they have the inside track now. Winning that division,
was a close
they
game,
control
though,
their destiny. It was, and we I think we expected it to be. That was the game we were probably closest to picking like 100% correct on the score and everything. So those are the big winners of the week. I think you got to give props to the Chargers, the Steelers, the Bills, and maybe to a lesser extent the Jaguars, just because the Colts got beat up there. Daniel Jones getting hurt and everything made it a little easier on the Jaguars, but the Jaguars, the Chargers, the Steelers, and the Bills also all had good weeks. Got some wins that they all needed. Those were all games that we previewed. Now the big losers, the Ravens, the Chiefs, and the Bengals took, I think, the toughest losses in terms of their outlook moving forward and where they sit in the playoffs now. All 3 of those teams are outside looking in. You're talking about Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow. The odds say none of those guys make the playoffs right now. Right? So what were thought to be 3 of the 4 best quarterbacks in the NFL, certainly 3 of the 4 best, or the 4 best in the AFC. Maybe outside looking in. The Bills obviously are in a better place than those 3 teams with Josh Allen, but the other 3 outside looking in right now with a tough road to get in.
It's funny. I was going to say the 3 of the 4 in their division, but clearly the Chiefs didn't apply to that statement. But
yeah, the Ravens and the Bengals being in the same division. Yeah, it is. For those teams, it is tough. Interested to see, how it goes. Yeah, how it moves forward as we get into the playoffs. Out. 4 weeks to go. I mean, what's the AFC playoff picture looking like right now, Jody?
We got the Broncos in the 1 seed sitting at 11-2. Patriots at the 2 seed, 11-2 as well. 3 seed, we got the Jags after beating the Colts last week. 4 seed, same thing, beating the Ravens. Now they're 7-6. We got the Steelers. Rodgers discount double check. The 5th seed, we got the Chargers at 9-4 after beating the Eagles. We got the Buffalo Bills at 9-4 at the 6th seed. And at the 7th seed, we got Houston Texans, 8-5. People outside looking in, we got the Colts at 8-5, Ravens 6-7, Chiefs 6-7, and the Dolphins 6-7.
Oh no, we got just a host of 6-7 teams right there. Okay. I mean, Rodgers did bring back the discount double check.
That he did.
He did. Do the kids at our school go crazy about the 6-7? Yes, of course they do. They're like every other kid in America.
Tough times.
Okay, so the standings, I mean, we're in a similar spot to where we were a week ago. I think if you're asking yourself right now, and I'll put you on the spot, Jody. Which team on the outside looking in do you feel most, confident, or you feel like has the best chance of getting in, and which team would they replace if they get in?
Oof. Well, I don't want to say it because I'm a hater, but the Chiefs. I think the Colts without Daniel Jones. We got Phillip Rivers coming to town.
Philly, he's back.
Yeah. I guess Chiefs would have to take over. I guess Houston. I don't know. It's close race. Does Houston? Who I need to know who they're playing next in order for me to answer this properly. But at the moment, it looks like Houston could be Buffalo. I don't think the Chargers are moving too far from the 5 or the 1 in their division.
So, how I would answer this question. Truthfully, the team that has the best chance is actually the Ravens to unseat the Steelers, at the 4 seed and win that division. But I did start looking ahead. I don't think people realize how important that Chiefs-Chargers game is this week. The Chargers have a 3-game. The Chargers have a 3-game lead.
Yeah.
But do you want to know the rest of the Chargers' schedule? It's probably the hardest in the NFL.
The Broncos is on there.
I'll tell it to you right now. Live, got to look it up because I don't want to say anything wrong. But I looked earlier this week. I think it's the hardest schedule in the NFL left.
I want to guess Broncos and Jags are on there for some reason.
They play at the Chiefs this weekend, so they got to go to Arrowhead. Yeah. While remember, they already beat them earlier this year. The Chargers already beat the Chiefs. Now they got to go to Arrowhead and do it again. They play at the Cowboys, hottest offense in the NFL. They host the Texans, hottest defense in the NFL, and then they go to the Broncos to finish the year.
Yeah.
If they don't beat the Chiefs right here, there's a very good possibility they only go 1-2 in those last 3. And if they do that and the Chiefs win out, guess who gets in over the Chargers?
The Chiefs.
Yep. Because the Chiefs have, and we talked about this before, they have like the Raiders left and the Titans. They've got some gimmies coming up after this Chargers game. So I'm just saying that they play the Chargers this week. Chargers Chiefs is this week. So that's what I'm saying. Somebody. Even though it kind of feels like, the Chargers are 3 games ahead, it's almost like the tortoise and the hare here. Right? This could turn into like a situation where the Chiefs catch them right at the end on the finish line. It's like, what happened? How? I'm just telling people. I'm just giving people that warning. I know last week we said if the Chiefs lost to the Texans, they were dead. They're not. They're still probably dead. But there's like just enough chance that you're like,
they got a
maybe,
little line going, boop,
maybe, boop. Yeah, maybe. And Chargers fans out there, you know what I'm talking about. They're worried. I know Chargers fans. They're worried. This scares them because they've just had so much bad luck as a franchise before. It's like they're cursed.
Chargering. That's their their key verb right there.
They might Charger this thing. I don't know. I don't want to put that on Harbaugh. All right, I don't want to put that on Harbaugh. Michigan's already had kind of a tough go recently.
You can put it on Herbert, bro. That boy don't be throwing the ball. He's been hurt. Herbert.
He's been running. What are our standings in the NFC?
NFC, we got the Rams sitting at the 1 seed at 10-3. Packers at the 2 seed after beating the Bears 9-3-1 with that tie to the Cowboys. Philly still at the 3 spot for the East at 8-5 after losing to Sully. We got Tampa Bay 7-6 at the 4 seed. 5 seed we got the Seahawks 10-3. 6 seed we got the Niners at 9-4. 7 seed we got the Bears 9-4. They went from the 1 seed to the 7 seed in a matter of a week. Let's see, outside looking in. Detroit Lions sitting at 8-5. Carolina Panthers sitting at 7-6. And the Cowboys 6-1.
Yeah, I think it's interesting kind of shake up here. We get the Rams back on top of the NFC. the Rams and Packers feel like the two closest to complete teams in the NFC at 1 and 2. But I think, you look at the 3 wildcard teams are dangerous. I think Seattle, San Francisco, and Chicago can beat anybody. Any of those 3 teams could be the NFC representative for the Super Bowl. San Francisco, with the injuries, is probably the least likely. However, they've battled. They've won 4 in a row. You got to give them credit. They've won four in a row, and they look good. And so I'm not ready to count them out, regardless of the injuries. The offense is healthier. They may eventually get Fred Warner back. Who knows? That's a rumor right now.
What did he hurt?
So going back to you're putting me on the spot. I thought it I don't remember. It wasn't a knee thing. It was something. I thought he he did something like that generally would be season ending.
Let's see.
He fractured and dislocated his right ankle. That's what it was.
Oh.
It required surgery.
He's got the Cam Scatabo.
It's considered season ending. It happened in week 6, but he's trying to push to come back. I don't know. I guess we'll see. It's a rumor right now. Now, Jody, if you were going to kick someone out of the playoffs and put somebody in here, who do you think is most likely those 2 teams are to be?
Well, I think the easiest answer is the Lions and the Bears. Actually, Tampa Bay. It goes back to the division. They're tied at 7-6. They got to play each other, I think, twice in the end. They're literally fighting for the division. But if I'm going wild card route, I'd probably put the Lions in over the Bears or the Niners. I don't know what their schedules look like at the end, but I'd pick one of them 2 to fall out.
You're not ready for what I'm about to say.
The Cowboys taking over Philly.
America's team taking over the NFC East, I think is very much so in play. If the Cowboys went out and get to 10-6, all that has to happen, or 10-6-1, I should say. All that has to happen is Philly has to go 2-2 down the stretch. And end up 10-7.
I don't know who they're playing.
They've lost 3 in a row. The way they're playing, they ain't beating anybody now.
This is them in the playoffs like 3 years ago.
Well, this is the exact same season Philly had in 23. They went to the Super Bowl in 22. They had a really good start in 23, but there were problems, and they finished down the stretch.
Lost to Tampa Bay.
Awful. And they lost to Tampa Bay in the playoffs.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to
nobody could believe it. They finished. Guess what their record was?
They're playing the Eagles. That's who I was.
10-7.
That's tough.
They finished 10-7 that year. I'm just saying. They won the Super Bowl last year. Now they're in the similar spot. They're in that free fall. I'm just saying the NFC East. No one ever wins it 2 years in a row. I'm just putting it out there, folks. Don't be shocked when the Cowboys win that division.
Now let me ask you this: do you think the Eagles could split a game with the Commanders?
They should.
I think they should go 2-0. They shouldn't split.
They should.
But they're playing the Raiders.
Here's the thing. They have 4 games left, 2 of them against the Commanders, 1 of them against the Raiders. If they go 2-2 in that stretch and they lose one of those 3 games, Bills is the other one. They're probably losing to the Bills, right? So then you ask yourself, can the Raiders or the Commanders one of the 2 times pull it off? The way they're playing right now, I think that's possible. Now, should it happen? Heck no. Heck no, it shouldn't happen. The Eagles should get this Raiders game should be a get-right game for them, right?
Yeah, no, 1,000%.
But
and
who knows?
They go to Washington. Maybe Jaden Daniels doing better. I don't know.
Shoot, the Commanders don't even have to beat them. They just got to tie them. Just tie them. Make it a 10-6-1. I don't know who wins the tiebreaker if they're both 10-6-1 because I know they split against each other. So who knows?
Okay. I guess it goes to division at that point.
Yeah, it's division record, and I don't know. I don't know who would have the better divisional record. But
it shows home and away.
So, with all that being said, now we know the full scope. Let's get into the Week 15 preview. What's our first game, Jody?
We got the Ravens going to Cincinnati at the Bengals home. My bet this week that I'm doing, because I did really abysmal last week. I got one out of the picks I threw out. Aaron Rodgers, like I said, decided to be Aaron Rodgers from like 2008 with the rushing touchdown and whatever else he did. Threw for 300 and I think it said 98 yards or 72 or something. Went nutty. But this week, I'm rolling with a touchdown for this game. You could pick Jamar, you could pick T. Higgins, whichever one you want, whoever you trust more. One of them is scoring.
Okay.
They're hitting the gritty at home.
And we should say, in our picks last week, we didn't. I didn't keep track of Jody's prop bets, but in our picks, prop bets and money lines and all that stuff, right? But in our actual picks, predictions of winners and the scores, your boy went 5-2 on last week's previews. Jody went 3-4. All right, but I think on most of the games, at least one of us got it right. So, like, I got Chiefs wrong, but you got Texans right.
Yeah.
So, and where you got Ravens wrong, I got Steelers right. So, for the most part, one of the people on this podcast got every one of those games right. So, if you combine us, we're kind of like 7-0. Yeah. I think there was
one match on then. Because
there was one game we both got wrong. I believe we both picked the Bengals to beat the Bills. That was the one game we both got wrong.
That we did.
Yeah. All right. So Baltimore and Cincy, key to the game, right? To me, it's just Lamar Jackson. Is he still hurt? Is he quote unquote washed? Is he slumping? Right? If Lamar can just be close to the best version of himself,
close to
the Ravens will get right and win here, right? The one positive stat from last Sunday is Lamar ran the ball 7 times for 43 yards. That was his most in a game since week 4 before the injury this year. He also threw the game-winning touchdown to Isaiah Likely, who then managed to drop it, and the whole catch versus no catch thing. Like, if that's ruled a catch, the Ravens win that game.
What do you call it?
I don't know. It felt like it should be a touchdown.
That's
if I'm being unbiased. However, as someone who picked the Steelers and was rooting for them, I was like, yeah, that's not a touchdown. Right? So, because of course I want to be right. But just being unbiased, just watching it, being like, he caught it 2 steps. Feels like it should be a touchdown. He's in the end zone.
It was a touchdown. I didn't see it at full speed. I only saw slow-mo. So that's part of the issue. But, I mean, he got 1, 2, and almost a third. I don't know.
It's a tough one because also the DB in me loves that the DB played through the play and fought. Yeah. And I like rewarding that guy for doing that. So, but seemed like probably should have been a touchdown. So, all that being said, I think this is a battle between 2 quarterbacks getting right, 2 quarterbacks getting healthy. Ultimately, I like the talent of the Ravens, and I'm picking them to win this game 30-28. I think Lamar finally kind of breaks out of the slump and looks like MVP Lamar. And also the Bengals defense, they just suck. So I'm going with the Ravens.
I feel it. I guess I should have took that into factor to my point, but I have the Bengals winning. Long story short, I got it 31-17. But like you said, their defense isn't that good. I think I'm assuming more that Lamar isn't going to produce more than anything compared to the defense not being that good. But it's funny too because if I were to tell you to pick a bet out the sports book, I'm taking the over 52.5. Obviously, my points don't add up to that. So do with that information as you will. It don't add up. I don't know what to tell you.
Take the over 52.5, but I'm going to give you a total of 48. 4.5 points lower. Why does that not take the under?
Well, look at your points. You got 58 points.
I'm actually saying take the over and adding it up to be actually over.
That's what I'm saying. If you want to believe, I could raise my points real quick.
Basically what you're saying is people should just not listen to you and just listen to me. That's what you're saying.
No, I'm saying collectively, I think we would pick the over in this game.
Okay. Even though individually
you told me you would
take the. Yes.
I would agree the over is probably a better bet. That's if we're expecting Lamar to be Lamar and their defense to be terrible for the Bengals. Then those things would add up.
Yeah. Okay, next game. What do we got?
We got that game you're talking about for the 7 seed potentially down the road. The Chargers going to Arrowhead. This game, I talked about it briefly earlier about Justin Herbert being hurt and not throwing the ball. His last 3 games, he's thrown for under like 150. And I think the Chiefs have a pretty good defense. And you're going to someplace cold. Don't know what time they're playing, but I'm assuming it's going to be cold. I'm taking Justin Herbert's under passing yards at 202.5.
Okay. All right.
Still hurt.
Well, as I said earlier, I think this game ends up being for the 7 seed. I think the Chargers are likely to go 1-2 in the 3 games after this one. And so this game will determine, are the Chargers 10-7 or 11-6 to finish the year? And I think the Texans and the Bills will both surpass that. And truthfully, I think the Texans will finish about 11-6, and they're gonna play the Chargers, and I'm thinking that the Chargers will lose that game. Yeah. I think the Chargers could beat the Cowboys and lose to the Texans and the Broncos, or some version of that. I think 1-2 is realistic for them in those last 3 games. So really, if they lose this game and they finish 10-7, right, and then KC wins those last 3 games, which I think they should, and also finishes 10-7, then we've got ourselves a tie, and the Chiefs win that tiebreaker. Depending on which games the Chargers win and lose, right, because it'll go down to the divisional record. But I think there's a good chance this ends up being for the 7 seed. So which team runs the ball better is the key to the game, right? Both these teams put way too much on the quarterbacks with shaky and beat up offensive lines. They rank 13th and 16th, respectively, in rush yards per carry. The Chargers average 4.5. The Chiefs average 4.4. Can either of these teams help their quarterback by just creating some semblance of a run game that takes some of the hits off their plate? Well, and that's the thing. These guys are running the ball. That's part of the part of those yards per carry are these 2 quarterbacks. Yeah. So can they get yards per carry from the running backs that actually help them take hits off their body? And I think the team that does that likely wins the game.
Oh, I thought you were going to tell me which one is better.
I think that this is I don't know. I guess I can't quit the Chiefs, man. I guess I just can't. They're at home. Like, I just can't see them losing 2 in a row at home with the playoffs on the line like this. I know they looked bad. And truthfully, the team around, I'm ready to say the team around Mahomes is bad. Mahomes is still playing well. The team is bad.
Didn't he throw for like 4 touchdowns like 2 weeks ago?
And yet, I can't pick against him. I can't do it. I'm staying on Mahomes until he's just the wheels are falling off completely. I'm sticking with them. I'm picking the Chiefs 24, Chargers 23. I think it's going to be a nut cruncher.
Yeah, I agree the Chiefs are winning. I have the game at Chiefs 21, Chargers 10. Now, again, if I bring up the sports book, my pick there would be Chargers plus 5.5. They beat them already. Now, I told you that's not going to be the case. But point being, I think the Chiefs are going to win. That's my main point. I could care less about how much variation is in the score. I don't even do those types of bets. I'm just giving you what I think. All right. You can do with what you will with the information. I would say Justin Herbert
all time like hedges against yourself in every one of these bets and predictions. It's unbelievable. You're right either way. You've rigged it. You've rigged it. This is unbelievable.
Because if they win, I guess I'm chilling. They did.
You've rigged it, man. You've rigged it. This is unbelievable. All right. I guess let's just keep going and seeing how you can continue to do this. I'm just imagining the meme. How does he keep getting away with it?
Here, let's look at the odds to see which one is actually more.
No. Just just keep it pushing to Buffalo and New England. Just I don't want to hear you talk in circles and try and
have it up.
Oh my gosh, this guy, dude, this guy.
Oh, it's the line's at 6 now. Even better. It's
You still have losing by 11. Unless the line is 11 and a half. Unless the line is 11 and a half, you can't give your prediction and say Chiefs on the spread.
All right. Hear me out. Take the under. I'm saying take the under. That would be my real answer. You're saying take the over again, though. That's all I'm gonna say. Okay. Next game.
Well,
next game. Buffalo and New England, as Trevor has mentioned. New England's home. This game, where is it? This is a Superman game. We seen it last week. Josh Allen kind of went crazy. First time in a while. I'm saying this guy's got to scramble, get himself a touchdown. He's getting in there, doing something. He's handing the ball to Deion Dawkins.
So a rushing touchdown.
Yes. It is. He's scoring. He's rushing or receiving for Josh Allen. Okay. And I don't know. New England's defense pretty good. He's going to have to be the man out there. He's going to run around everywhere all the time, and he's going to find the way into the end zone.
Okay. This one we both like.
We agree.
The over 49.5 in our predictions. We'll get to those in a second, but that was your other bet I saw.
Yeah. I thought about dropping that. Now I was like, I'll save
it. Key to the game: can the Patriots keep Josh Allen in the pocket? Right. He absolutely crushed Cincinnati when he escaped the pocket last week. If you watch the film, guy had 5 scrambles for 84 yards and a touchdown. He was equally effective throwing it. He completed multiple 4th down throws, leaving the pocket. Had an 11-yard touchdown in the second quarter when he left the pocket on 4th down and 4. He converted a 4th and 4, leaving the pocket earlier in that same drive. 3 of his 4 touchdowns happened after he escaped the pocket. So if you're New England, you got to keep him in there. And that's not to say that Josh Allen can't operate from the pocket, right? Because there's some quarterbacks who can't. That's not the case with him. It's just that we know, and we know he can, right? We've seen him do it, but we know he doesn't have the playmakers, the winners outside to consistently just produce high-level offense from the pocket. He will make the right decisions. He will make the right throws. Will those guys make the plays for him, right? Can they operate in offense that way? It really hasn't been that this year. It's been like, Josh, you got to put the cape on, leave the pocket, make plays for us to get the explosives. Otherwise, they don't generate them on their own. So it's not necessarily that Josh is doing stuff that makes you say, he can't win from the pocket, because we know he can. Their offense is just tremendously better when he leaves it, right? So New England's primary mission should be make Josh Allen play in the pocket and trust his receivers. And Vrabel is an excellent defensive mind. I'm sure he's harping and stressing that to their pass rush this week. Just the way Josh Allen's starting to kind of play, I don't know if they can. I don't know if they'll be able to keep him in there.
I don't think he'll allow him to be honest. I think that regardless, he's gonna feel some sort of pressure and just start running.
I think this is hey, Drake May, you're really good. New England Patriots, you're really good. But the Bills, we've been doing this for a few more years, and Josh Allen's the MVP of the league, and I've got the Bills winning this one 31-20 and kind of sending a message to New England, like New England sent a message to them earlier in the year when they kind of showed like, hey, we're here. We've arrived. We're ready to go. We're not just a fun team. We're a dominant team. We're one of the AFC contenders. I think this is a chance for Buffalo to remind New England, yeah, you're a contender, but so are we, right? Yeah. So I think the Bills lay down the smackdown a little bit this week, and I've got them winning this game 31-20.
Well, that's where we differ this week. I got the Patriots winning at home 35, Bills 27. Like you said, we're taking the over regardless on both of our numbers. 49.5. I think it's a shootout. I just think we're going to see Superman Josh Allen to where he also throws a pick and something unfortunate happens. Whether it's his fault, overthrowing a guy, or they straight through the hands, you know what I mean? Something. Next game,
all right.
We got Green Bay at Denver.
Ooh, good one.
This week, my bet is going to be Christian Watson. His longest catch going to be over 24.5 yards. That's the deep ball guy. He's a sprinter. I don't know I don't know if it's gonna be PS2 or Riley Moss, but if it's Riley Moss, he's definitely gonna blow by that fool. I ain't gonna lie.
Why is it definite? Why is
Why?
he
Because
definitely going to go
he's
by
got the
him?
burners. My guy's got speed. He's got a long stride.
What? Riley Moss doesn't have it, huh?
I didn't say that. His route tree doesn't perform well with Riley Moss.
Oh, okay. Riley Moss doesn't play the deep ball well, is what he's saying.
I'm saying this
Why?
dude's gonna
Why
take
is
off
that?
because the receiver is gonna take off. He's got the burners.
Okay. All right, dude. I'm just trying to see what you're trying to say about Riley Moss right now. That's all.
He's
trying to see.
More of a nickel guy. I don't know.
Is he a lunch pail cat? Really hard worker.
No, I don't think he's that. He's a starting DB in the NFL. That's what he is.
Okay, all right, yeah. Give Riley Moss his credit, dude. I'm just trying to make sure. Just trying to make sure, dude. So, if we're talking keys to the game here, this is the number one third down offense. We talked about that Green Bay. That trend continued last week against Chicago. By the way, it was the key to their win. Number one third down offense versus the number one third down defense. Right, this is strength on strength. The Packers offense continues to find itself in third and forever predicaments, and it seems they just seem to get themselves out of it regardless of the distance. Watson. They're at 50% now, which is elite. That's pretty good. And meanwhile, the Broncos, they're holding teams to almost 40% conversions as the best third down defense in the league. The coverage and pass rush marry really well on third down. Something to look for. If the Packers stay aggressive and go for it in situations where they don't convert on third down, the Broncos fall from first to 14th in the league on fourth down defense. So that could be a critical factor in what I expect to be a very tight game, right? So there may be some situations the Broncos do get a stop on third down, but the Packers go for it on fourth down and extend the drive that way. So look for that. I do like the Packers in this game. I think they've been playing very good football. I think the Broncos have been winning games, but it's with a formula that I think leaves them susceptible to be beat. So I've got the Packers 20, Broncos 14. I believe in Jordan Love more than I believe in Bo Nix. I believe in Micah Parsons, right? That Broncos defense is very good, but I also think that Packers defense is going to dial some stuff up and be able to get after Bo Nix, Micah Parsons specifically. So Packers 20, Broncos 14.
That too, I also have it being a low-scoring game, but I had the Broncos winning this one. I got them at 17, Packers 10. It's going to be a gross game. It's going to be under that 42.5 is what we're assuming. A lot of defense, I'm assuming. But who knows? Where that's going to be.
Yeah, I mean, you're kind of going with
true, like Super Bowl matchup, possibly.
It is. And the formula that lends itself to agree with you is like if you go back and watch the Packers-Eagles game earlier in the year and the way the Packers looked there, right? If they play like that, this is exactly how that game would kind of play out for Denver. And so I think that's kind of what you're looking at. What do we have next?
Another key factor was the altitude in my prediction. They got the frozen tundra. We get it. They know how to play in the cold, but altitude's going to get you too. Next game. This one, potential game to go to. I'm still up in the air. I don't know yet. Ooh. Detroit going to SoFi, playing the Rams. This game, I was like, I didn't even put my bet in. It's because it's on I swapped them. I got Devontae getting the touchdown on this one. Throw it up to the guy within the 5-yard line every time. He's going to make it happen.
Yeah. I key to the game. Who rushes for more yards, right?
Blake Corum.
Two of the five best rushing offenses in the league over the last 3 games. Both teams are averaging over 155 yards a game during that time. The rushing defenses are also very good as they're 10th and 11th in the league, allowing around 103 yards a game, both. When these teams have played recently, the games have been in the mid-20s, every possession kind of mattering, right? I imagine a similar game script. I do think both offenses have slight advantages and have been clicking recently. So they'll have the upper hand on the defenses. But the team that can score while controlling the clock to help their defense and control the game, I anticipate is the team that wins this game. Ultimately, I think it's a tough game for the Rams, given that the Lions have the 10-day rest period because last time they played was a Thursday. The Rams played on Sunday. The Lions have kind of had their number recently, but I think this is one that means just like a little bit more for Stafford and the Rams fans at SoFi. And so I've got the Rams winning this one 31-27. But good game.
Yeah, I too have a ton of points being put on the board. I got the Rams at 42, Lions 35. Both of us are assuming that's going to hit the over at 55.5. A lot of points.
You got it way over.
Yeah, we're taking that thing to the moon.
Gotta give some respect to those defenses. Those are two good defenses, man.
Yeah, but I mean, they both got some good rushers up front, but I mean, regardless, those two dudes also sling the rock more than anyone almost. You know what I mean?
All right, last game of the week that we got here.
We got Minnesota at Dallas. This one was tough to pick, I'm gonna be honest. Not necessarily the bet, but just in general. It's like, who do you trust more? Do you like a good offense or a dude that has good weapons but hasn't really put it together all year, but he's showing some things? But this one, they didn't even pick a guy. I think it's supposed to be Dak. I think my bet on this one was Dak, longest rush under 6.5 yards. Let me double check that, but I think that's what the bet was.
I didn't pick a guy. While you're figuring out that, I'll talk keys to the game here. Game is fun for a lot of reasons here. JJ McCarthy is coming off arguably his best game as a pro. He's been very up. You know, the Bears on Monday Night Football in the early in the year when they went to Detroit and beat the Lions, the Commanders last week, right? And also very down basically the rest of the games he's played, battling the injuries, all of that, right, in his young career here. And so the question is, which 9 are we going to get this week, right?
Exactly.
The Cowboys defense has been very up, right? We've seen them in the Vegas game, Philly, Kansas City, that stretch of games, unbelievable. And down, right? The Lions most recently, the Bears early in the year, the Giants earlier in the year, right? They've also been very up and down. So which version of the Dallas defense do we get? And then you flip it on the other side of the ball and you're like, man, we get to watch the chess match of Brian Flores and his design sim pressures, mug looks, coverage rotations, zone pressures versus Dak, who is one of the best pre-snap operators we have in the league, right? He's one of the smartest quarterbacks we've got. And this is just premier versus premier. Should be incredibly fun. So it's kind of funny because you've got like primo on primo over here when Dallas is on offense versus like, I don't know, when Minnesota's on offense, right? You just don't know. You have no idea what you're going to get there. So it's kind of like strength on strength, weakness on weakness. Should be kind of a fun game. It's really likely that neither of these teams makes the playoffs, but yet it's one of the games I'm actually really looking forward to watching on Sunday. So, it should be a fun one. What was that best bet for you, Jody?
It was Dak on longest rush under 6.5.
So final score prediction here. I'm going Vikings 28, Cowboys 30. Really, ultimately, this just felt like, the Vikings play well, but the Cowboys need it more. They're still kind of in that playoff hunt, and the Vikings are really mostly out of it. So I think that's where I lean Cowboys. The Cowboys have been playing better, more consistently, though you would argue the Vikings played better last week. But in general this season, the Cowboys have been a little more consistent than the Vikings. The Vikings have been a little too up and down for me to pick them in this spot. So I ultimately went with the Cowboys, but I wouldn't be 100% shocked if the Vikings won.
Yeah, no, I agree with that too. But in this game, I also had the Cowboys winning 24, Vikings 21. Some context to that Dak pick. I'm assuming they're in a rush or blitz a lot. That's what I should say. And so he's got to just look and get it out quick compared to having time to figure out where he's going to run with the ball.
Okay.
My sportsbook bet, 50-50 on this one with your score being higher than mine, but I'm taking the 47.5.
That's funny because my score is directly at 48.
Yeah.
So I am right just on the over by a half point. So yeah. It should be a fun game, man. I can't lie, as a Michigan fan, I'm rooting for JJ McCarthy a little bit there.
Would you
big spot for him?
Yeah. No, true. This is, like I said, I gave up on him in fantasy a couple weeks back. But last week he comes back and he's like, "Hey man, look at me. I'm still here." And it's like,
I told
okay, well, we need
everyone
that guy
when
every
we talked
time.
about that. I told everyone when we talked about that, he's still young. He's gonna develop.
Yeah.
He's gonna be all right. Don't
That's
give
the
up
tough
on him
part.
yet.
He missed most of that first year and then like half of this year down too.
Yep. All right. So that does it for our NFL coverage, college football coverage. I mean, we've gone through all of it. It's awesome. We just got finished with a banger of the week, and I gotta say, we finished Stranger Things. We're caught up all the way. We're ready to go. Ready for the next one.
Ready
to
for
drop,
Christmas.
Volume 2. Yeah. So we needed a show to watch the other day. And so we went with your recommendation.
Oh, yeah. What'd you think?
All Her Fault. It's good so far. We watched 2 episodes. And we would have watched more if Jill didn't have to go to bed because she had work. So it was good. And we're going to keep watching it. But great recommendation. Your banger of the week. It hit right so far. Yeah. And so we're excited to keep it rolling. Excited to see kind of what happens here.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
Jill said real Gone Girl vibes. And I was like, oh.
I don't know. I don't know what that means, but all right. For me, bro, I forgot and then I remembered and I forgot all day. And then I was like, I'm going to say this thing, but that's not what I want to say. This is what I actually want to say. And I remembered again. My recommendation is it's called Special Forces. I think Most Dangerous Game or whatever. It was on TV. Just ended the most recent season like 3 weeks ago. I don't know if you've seen it. It's pretty sick. It's like celebrities. They go out and there's like former like special forces.
Is this the show that like Cam Newton was on at one point?
Yeah, he was on that like 2 years ago, I think. Yeah, 3 years ago.
Okay. Yeah, I've seen previews for it. I've never thought enough of it to actually give it a shot.
Yeah. We watched it. We all thought it was pretty sick because it's like these dudes, they're like working with celebrities and they like test them to see how good they are. And then they're like, okay, how do we get to this guy and tap into his emotions? Or how do we make this guy like show us more of who he is as to why he operates this way and stuff. So it's pretty cool. That's what we were on for the longest. It was pretty sick.
Pretty sweet, man. Pretty sweet. All right. I think that does it for this week's pod. Excited to watch the games on Sunday. You guys know what to look for now in the critical matchups, the fun matchups. So I think we steered you right last week. Hopefully we steer you right again this week, and excited for another weekend of awesome football action.
And with that being said, our guy Ray will be taking us out.